going on, Falcon fan? This your boy Ricondo come back at you with another video. So today we're talking about day one of training camp. Talk about the roster to go up from 89 to 90 on the roster. We'll talk about Deion Jones, his status going into day one of training camp, and we'll talk about some of the things we heard from the coaches and players day one. So guys, if you have not already, go ahead, please subscribe to Ricondo, a real Falcon fan. Please hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys like to hear what I talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So guys, like I said, um, the Falcons added their 90th player to the roster today. My Darren Daniels played with the 49ers in 2020. Actually got elevated to the roster a couple of times. Ended up with 4 sacks. Did have a lower leg injury in the later, so that's pretty much all the reps that he got in the pros right now. But I think this guy is just a depth piece. We knew the Falcons were still looking at that position once Eddie Goldman decided to retire. But at this point, I think Darren Daniels is going to be just a depth piece behind a Vincent Taylor and a um, Anthony Rush. I think Anthony Rush might have the leg up on Vincent Taylor. We have to see, but I think if anything, the competition, like the coach said, it's all across the board. So those guys definitely would be competing for that D tackle position. We know that it's a spot that they really want to hit on this year. That's why they tried to bring in a guy like Eddie Goldman. So hopefully Anthony Rush and Vincent Taylor can live up to that, and we'll have to just see how those guys fare. Um, Coach talked about Deion Jones being on the PUP list. He has no timetable when he expect him to return. He said he might know more within a week. However, when he comes back, he expect him to come out and compete just like everybody else. He talked about the competition as a team in general. He loves it, and he also noticed how much more depth that this team has across the board. If that's really important for every team to be able to have that depth. You look at the team we had last year, like a player like Isaiah Oliver going down, you can see how that affected our defense. Um, Dean Pease had to take 3 players and utilize them just to fill that void. But being able to have a depth like that at certain positions is definitely something that'll be beneficial for this team because we know injuries happen, correct? So um, you have to be able to have somebody to be the next man up. Everybody says it, but when it happens, you want to actually be able to plug somebody in that can hold the ship down, for the rest of the year until the other person comes back. He was asked about what he expect from the guys in day one. Of course, they're still doing a ramp up, so it's not a lot of plays out there for those guys. But one thing um, he did mention, and I think everybody would agree that they did go through all the doing OTAs and our season program, going through installs. So with those installs, he expect um, these guys to come in and be able to regurgitate all that stuff and be able to move fast and be able to execute, especially the quarterbacks. Right, quarterbacks have to come in. They're the leader of the team. He expect those guys to be able to command the huddle and be able to lead the offense like they should. From what he's seen today, he was pleased from both quarterbacks, Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ritter. So that's a good sign in day one. We just have to see how that pans out moving forward. Speaking of competition, he also mentioned the offensive line, where I think we all expected there to be competition on the offensive line, but he did mention 2 players that there was no competition for. Of course, that's Chris Lindstrom and Jake Matthews. That was expected as well. What I also expected, what we seen in minicamp and OTAs, was Drew Dahlman being the starter with the ones. So look like Drew Dalman is going to get that first crack at being the starter this year at center. However, he did mention that it was going to be enough reps for each player during this competition periods so they can actually fairly evaluate these guys. So Matt Hennessy's not getting the starting reps right now, but you know what we know tomorrow he could. So we just have to see how that folds out. Of course, we won't know a whole lot about the offensive line to these guys getting pads, and I think that should take place more next week when they start getting the pads. We heard from Michael Walker, and what I liked about Michael Walker was he was very excited by getting this, being able to be a starter this year, and he also mentioned that he was kind of upset the last 2 years, even though he was playing behind Deion Jones and Foye Olakun. It felt like he should have been out there. That's a good thing. I love his confidence. I love his enthusiasm, and I think he's actually going to be able to shine. He had flashpoints last year for us. Of course, you remember the pick six he got from Cam Newton. Um, so we'll be able to see what um, Michael Walker is going to actually be able to bring to this team this year. I can't wait to see him beside Rashawn Evans. Um, and then let's get into our two quarterbacks. We heard from both of them um, today. Of course, start with our presumptive starter, Drake. Not Drake London, but our quarterback coach. Um, London did say that he expect Marcus Mariota to be the starter for us. I think we all could agree that's what we expect, especially day one of training camp. He did mention that he has a plan for they do have a plan for Ritter, but as of right now, Marcus Mariota is our starting quarterback. Um, day one of Atlanta Falcons training camp, right? So Marcus Mariota talk. He's very, very a nice guy. To be honest with you, most guys, especially when you're in a competition, you're gonna be guarded a little bit. But this guy is not that way. Everything that you heard about him, he's a nice guy. Maybe too nice, I don't know, but um, he's gonna help Mark Desmond Ritter any way he can. Um, if he got any questions, he want him to do well, and he's very, very excited for the opportunity that he got to be a starter. He want to be able to prove to himself and the people that believe in him that he can still be a starting quarterback in this league. Of course, I believe that he's going to do well. He has a lot of familiarity with Arthur Smith offense, so of course that's why he's the starter right now. Just, just we'll have to wait to see how much that's gonna help him moving into training camp when Desmond Ritter get more reps. But I think he's going to be the starter from day one. We also heard from Desmond Ritter, and he admitted that Marcus Mariota is kind of ahead of him in the playbook because he has more familiarity uh, with the playbook. And just be honest, Marcus Mariota has been in the league 7 years, so he knows the game. He know what it takes to be a starter in this league. And he also mentioned what I like about Marcus Mariota. He mentioned all the other things that has happened to him, being benched, being a backup for 2 years, all those things that help him grow. That's going to help Desmond Ritter. Desmond Ritter mentioned that that it's a healthy competition between those two. They're not out hoping the other guy plays bad. The main thing is they all want to get better. Um, when Marcus makes a good play, Desmond happy about it. When Desmond make a good play, Marcus has happy about it because that's good competition. That's a good quarterback room. I think that's going to benefit both of those guys. As of right now, both of those guys are getting all the quarterback snaps, which is kind of unusual for a training camp. Usually, um, coaches have about 3 or 4 guys out there throwing the ball around. He did mention that Felipe Franks is definitely going to get some reps sometime this camp, but right now with the limited number of reps, they definitely want to be able to get both of those guys their reps so they can actually evaluate and see what both of these guys got. The good thing about Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ritter, their game is similar, which means they're mobile. So when they're learning the offense, they don't have to change a lot of things for both of these guys. I think that's going to be great for this quarterback room, and we just have to see where do you guys go from here? Guys, those some of the most of the takeaways today. Um, I seen on Twitter somewhere where we did see our two young safeties out there starting. That's good on 11 on 11. But um, day two coming up tomorrow. I will be there on day three. So hopefully I can give you guys some in person analysis because I will be around to actually see some of these guys do what they do. But guys, let me know what you think about what you heard from Coach Smith today, from Michael Walker, both our quarterbacks, and what you think about this signing of Darren Daniels at D tackle. This is your boy Ricondo. Come back at you with another video. Peace.